الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيد الحبيب المصطفى ألف صلاة وسلام على حبيب الله. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وعملا وفقا في الدين يا رب العالمين وألحقنا بعبادك الصالحين. وإذ يرفع إبراهيم القواعد من البيت وإسماعيل ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. ويقول الله عز وجل واتخذوا من مقام إبراهيم مصلى. From last week's lesson, we had one hadith left on the description of Hajj. On the description of Hajj. Who is considered a Haji and what is considered when a person's Hajj is accepted. What are the signs? The hadith وعن ابن عمر رضي الله عنهما أن رجلا قال لرسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من الحاج؟ قال الشاعث التفل. قال فأي الحج أفضل؟ قال العج والثج. قال وما السبيل؟ قال الزاد والرحالة. رواه ابن ماجه. The hadith is reported on the authority of Sayyidina Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, the son of Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu. He reports that a man said to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, who is considered a proper pilgrim, who is considered a hajisa, in our terms, hajisa. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam replied, a person who has unkept hair. His hair is not combed, is not styled, is not gelled. You're not allowed to use any of that sort, isn't it? You're not allowed to oil, you're not allowed to do anything. Unkept hair and in a dirty state because he's not allowed to have a proper ghusl. No shower gel, no soap, nothing of that sort, isn't it? So, in an unkept state, disheveled hair, and at-tafil refers to dirty, in a dirty state. Then the man asked, the Sahabi asked, anonymous Sahabi, which Hajj is the best? What's the best Hajj? It's a simple question. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave a simple answer also. Al-ajju wa thajju. What's Hajj? Hajj is referring to talbiyah. Labbayk Allahumma labbayk, labbayk la sharika laka labbayk, innal hamda wal ni'mata laka wal mulk, la sharika lak. You keep on repeating this often. When a person continuously often repeats this in Hajj, this is referring to al-ajj. What thajj? Thajj is referring to the slaughter, the animal slaughter after completion of the Hajj rites. On Yawmun Nahar. Yawmun Nahar. On the 10th day. On the 10th day, Hajj is the most intensive for Hajjis. Most intensive. For us it's Eid. We're rejoicing here. We're celebrating. Over there, the Hajjis got so many things to do, one after the other, rituals. So this is the best type of Hajj. The person who recites the most talbiyah and the person who slaughters the most animals as well. Not just one. You can slaughter as many as you want. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam slaughtered 100 camels. 100 camels. Subhanallah. Then the Sahabi asked, وَمَا السَّبِيلِ? And how can we achieve this? Rasulullah replied, Azadu wa rihala. Taking enough provision, taking enough money with you. Taking enough money with you and conveyance, the correct mode of conveyance. The next chapter we have is on the merit of assuming the ihram and reciting the talbiyah. عن ابن مسعود رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال تابعوا بين الحج والعمرة فإنهما ينفيان الفقر والذنوب كما ينفي الكير خبث الحديد والذهب والفضة وليس للحجة المبرورة ثواب إلا الجنة وما من مؤمن يظل يومه محرما إلا غابت الشمس بذنوبه رواه الترمذي وكذا هو في النسائي وصحيح ابن خزيمة. Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu reports that follow up a Hajj with a Umrah and a Umrah, Hajj with a Hajj and a Umrah with a Umrah, or Hajj with Umrah and Umrah with Hajj. Why? Because it erases, it deletes all the sins committed in between. It erases and it deletes all the sins in between Hajj and Hajj, or Hajj and Umrah and Hajj. Okay? Rasulullah also gave the example of a person who is a simple person like us. Like a blacksmith, when he takes, if you go to the gold shop, if you go to the gold shop in our understanding, you go to the gold shop, he'll put it through like a furnace. Yeah? And he's going to get out the pure gold on one side and all the other metals on the other side. This is the example that Rasulullah gave. It's like a furnace. That all the dirt comes out on one side and the purity comes out on another side. You come out as pure as that pure gold. كما ينفيان. So the faqr, poverty, people think money. Money is when you go for Hajj and when you go for Umrah, money will increase. Why? Because you're making dua there over there. And when you're making dua there, you're saying Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana non-stop. Every time you're going around the Kaaba, you're saying Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana. You think Allah's going to reject your call? When you continuously saying, Ya Allah, give me hasana in this dunya, give me hasana in this dunya, as well as akhirah, both. We want both, the best of both worlds, isn't it? Never ever ask for any calamity. Never ever ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for any type of illnesses. This is completely contrary to the sunnah. One sahabi did it, and he then later regretted it. Rasulullah said, this is not the way. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the best in this world, and for the best in akhirah. A person might think, I'm such a gunagar. I've done so much sins. I want all the punishment in this dunya. This is wrong. This is completely going against the traditions of hadith of Rasulullah. You must ask for afiyah. Allahumma inna nas'aluka al-afwa wal-afiyah. What's afu? Afu means pardoning without even looking at your past. Afiyah, pure health, good health. All afiyah is a very comprehensive word. All sorts of greatness. وَلَيْسَ لِلْحَجَّةِ الْمَبْرُورَةِ ثَوَابٌ إِلَّا الْجَنَّةِ. We said this. Okay, there is no reward equivalent to a proper accepted Hajj except Jannah. There's nothing that can be its equivalent. There's nothing that can make you and me understand the reward for a proper Hajj except Jannah. Jannah is the only total reward for actual Hajj of a person. وَمَا مِن مُؤْمِنٍ يَظِلُّ يَوْمَهُ مُحْرِمًا إِلَّا غَابَتِ الشَّمْسُ بِذُنُوبِهِ. The person who is in the state of ihram, that day doesn't pass by. This is talking about a Haji. It can also refer to a person in Umrah as well. Okay? But here the hadith is referring to a person who's performing Hajj. There is no day that goes by, there is no night that goes by, except that when the sun comes up with his two pieces of cloth and he's done the intention, he's prayed the 2 rakats, he's done the intention, he's wore the ihram, he said Labbayk Allahumma Labbayk, he's in ihram. He's in ihram. From that point, every single day he's getting forgiven. Every single day he's getting forgiven. What's the example Rasulullah gave? Like the way the sun comes up, that's the way that his slate becomes clear. All his sins become absolutely clear. Shining, clear, pure of all sins. Every single day. Why? Because he's in ihram. He's in a sacred place with sacred garments, saying sacred things. He's staying away from all sorts of harams. The next hadith we have, وعن سهل بن سعد رضي الله عنه عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال ما من ملب يلبي إلا لبى ما عن يمينه وشماله من حجر أو شجر أو مدر حتى تنقطع الأرض من ها هنا وها هنا عن يمينه وشماله. رواه الترمذي وابن ماجه والبيهقي ورواه الحاكم. Here, subhanallah, we are blind. We are blind. We are deaf, dumb and blind. Summum bukmun umyun fahum la yarji'un. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? In Juz 15, any Hafizis? Yeah? Everything in the world makes the tasbih of Allah. Everything in the world makes the tasbih. Subhanallah, subhanallah, subhanallah. What is tasbih? What is tasbih? Zikr. Tasbih is not just zikr. Zikr is remembering Allah, yes. It's a form of zikr. It's a form of zikr. What does tasbih mean? There you go. Tanzihullahi anil naqais. This is what tasbih is. This is real tasbih. When you say subhanallah, you are saying Allah is free from, Allah is pure from any shortcomings, any deficiencies, any sort of things which are not, you're not able to attribute that to Allah. This is what tasbih means. That Allah is free, Allah is limitless. Allah is limitless. He has no limits, He has no impossibilities. This is what subhanallah means. So when you say subhanallah, make sure, understand what you say. Subhana rabbiyal a'la, subhana rabbiyal azim. Make sure you understand what you're saying. That Allah is free from anything of my mind that I think of Allah. Allah is free from anything that I think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can't do, because Allah can do everything. I can't do nothing. I am in need of Allah. Allah is not in need of me. Allah is not in need of any of His creation. Any. Allah is in need of malaika. He needs of angels. He needs angels. He needs Jibreel. He needs Mikael. He needs Israfil. He doesn't need anyone. He doesn't need anyone. This is just a system that is created for you to understand that everything runs according to a system. Everything runs according to a system. Okay? When a person in ihram makes the talbiyah, when he says Labbayk Allahumma, when he starts saying Labbayk Allahumma Labbayk, everything around him, on his right side, on his left side, everything around him, whether it's made of stone, Hajr, whether it's made of, whether it's a tree, whether it's stone, whether it's mud, even the mud makes tasbih. The mud makes tasbih. The leaves make tasbih. The stones that you think are completely inanimate, they don't have no life. They have life. They have life. They have a different life that we are blind to. We cannot see. There is no stone, there is no tree, there is no mud, except that they make tasbih. From your right side and from your left side. All the way. Subhanallah. لا إله إلا الله. وعن خلاد بن السائب عن أبيه رضي الله عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أتاني جبريل فأمرني أن آمر أصحابي أن يرفعوا أصواتهم بالإهلال والتلبية. رواه مالك وأبو داود والنسائي وابن ماجه والترمذي وقال حديث حسن صحيح وابن خزيمة. In this narration it mentions that Jibreel alayhi salam came to me. Jibreel alayhi salam came to me, to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And he said, make your companions read the talbiyah loud. When you read the talbiyah loudly. Talbiyah meaning? Labbayk Allahumma Labbayk. This one you must read loudly. So Jibreel alayhi salam specifically came down to ask Rasulullah, to request Rasulullah that when your sahabas make talbiyah, they must make it in a loud voice. That's why after salah, on those 5 days, we make it loudly after salah. At least once, isn't it? At least once. And then in a riwayah of Ibn Majah, it adds, فَإِنَّهَا شِعَارُ الْحَجِّ. It's one of the symbols of Hajj. It's one of the symbols of Hajj when you're continuously reciting talbiyah. And before we're done, it's the best type of Hajj. The more talbiyah you do, the best, it becomes the best form of Hajj. وعن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال ما أهل مهل قط ولا كبر مكبر قط إلا بشر قيل يا رسول الله بالجنة قال نعم قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ما أهل مهل قط إلا آبت الشمس بذنوبه. Very similar narration. There is no person in ihram, there is no person that's a haji in the state of ihram, and he makes talbiyah and he makes takbir. Here addition is takbir. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, walillahi alhamd. There is no person that makes the talbiyah and the takbir except that he is given glad tidings. Glad tidings of what? Sahabi asked, Bil Jannah? Rasulullah said yes, of Jannah. In another narration, it mentions, okay, we're going to come to that inshallah. Assuming the ihram from Baytul Maqdis. Many awliya, many scholars, they used to do this. They used to do this. They used to put on the ihram and start saying the talbiyah from Masjid al-Aqsa all the way to Makkah Mukarramah. What's the reward for this? عن أم حكيم بنت أبي أمية بن الأخنس عن أم سلمة رضي الله عنها أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال من أهل بعمرة من بيت المقدس غفر له. وفي رواية له قالت قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من أهل بعمرة من بيت المقدس كانت كفارة لما قبلها من الذنوب. قالت فخرجت أمي من بيت المقدس بعمرة. Hakim, she narrates on the authority of Salama that whoever, I heard Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say, whoever makes ihram from Masjid al-Aqsa to Makkah Mukarramah to doing the Umrah, a person is completely forgiven. A person is completely forgiven. When we read these ahadith of being completely forgiven, generally the ulama say it refers to the minor sins. But if a person has the intention of tawbah at the same time, then of course all his major sins will be forgiven as well. All his major sins will be forgiven. If a person, istighfar and tawbah, what's the difference? Istighfar is just to ask forgiveness. Tawbah is returning, going back and forth, again and again, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tawwab. Ibrahim alayhi salam is called Tawwab. Why? Because he kept on going back and forth, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, when a person keeps on sincerely repenting, this is inshallah included as well. Because when a person is doing such a thing like this, such a great task like this, all the way from Masjid al-Aqsa, all the way to Masjid al-Haram, his intention is going to be so pure, his intention is going to be so high, we will not be able to fathom with our brains, isn't it? So inshallah, all his past sins, meaning his minor sins as well as his major sins, inshallah. The next ahadith we have here is on the exhortation to make tawaf, kissing the Hajr al-Aswad and Rukn al-Yamani. Who knows what the Rukn al-Yamani is? Huh? Yemeni corner, where? So when you're making tawaf, you go this way, isn't it? Huh? Anti-clockwise. The corner before Hajr al-Aswad is called the Yemeni corner. Okay? Because it's pointing towards Yemen. So these are the two sides where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to kiss. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to kiss. To kiss on the other two sides is bid'ah. Is wrong. Okay? You shouldn't be doing that. Only on these two sides. Okay? Just to keep it in mind. The side before, the corner before Hajr al-Aswad is Rukn al-Yamani. عن عبد الله بن عبيد بن عمير رضي الله عنه أنه سمع أباه يقول لابن عمر رضي الله عنهما ما لي لا أراك تستلم إلا هذين الركنين الحجر الأسود والركن اليماني. فقال ابن عمر إن أفعل فقد سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول إن استلامهما يحط الخطايا. قال وسمعته يقول من طاف أسبوعا يحصيه وصلى ركعتين كان كعدل رقبة. وقال وسمعته يقول ما رفع رجل قدما ولا وضعها إلا كتب له 10 حسنات وحط عنه 10 سيئات ورفع له 10 درجات. I'll give you the crux of this. One Sahabi he saw, or one Tabi'i he saw Abdullah bin Umar only kissing these two corners. Only kissing Ruknul Yamani and Hajr al-Aswad. So he asked, why do you just kiss these two and not the other two? So Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu replied, I heard Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam says, to kiss these two corners removes all tawaf 7 times. And he counts it, yuhsihi. Usbu'an here doesn't refer to 1 week. It refers to 7 times. Okay? Anyone who knows Arabic might be confused. Ustad is saying usbu'an. What's usbu'? Usbu' means a week in Arabic. Here it doesn't refer to 1 week. Okay? Here he refers to 7 times. 7 times around the Kaaba. And then he performs 2 rak'ats. It's like freeing a slave. Freeing a slave. Freeing a slave. Slave was very expensive. Not everyone had slaves. Slaves were extremely expensive. And the reward for freeing slaves, Rasulullah said in so many ahadith. He kept on exhorting Sahaba for this. Okay? So that slavery would come to an end at a certain point. Because we are all the slaves of Allah. We're not the slaves of humans. We're not the slave of creation. We worship who? Allah. We don't worship creation. So it's the reward of this is ka'idli raqabatin. And then he says, there is no foot, there is no feet that goes up except that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards the hajisab. 10 rewards, 10 sins forgiven, 10 types of sins forgiven, and 10 stages in Jannah higher. Subhanallah. Huh? For each and every step. Now think about how many steps you're doing in Hajj, Umrah, Ya Allah. عن محمد بن المنكدر عن أبيه رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من طاف بالبيت أسبوعا لا يلغو فيه كان كعدل رقبة يعتقها. Very similar hadith. Except that a person does not do something against the rights of tawaf. Okay, I'll finish off with this part inshallah. عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ينزل الله كل يوم على حجاج بيته الحرام 20 و100 رحمة 60 للطائفين و40 للمصلين و20 للناظرين رواه البيهقي بإسناد حسن. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends down upon the Kaaba 120 mercies. 120 mercies. 60 for those who are making tawaf. 60 special mercies for those who are making tawaf. 40 special mercies for those who are performing salah in front of the Kaaba Sharif. This is referring to nafal salah. Nafal and sunnah salah. And 20 blessings for a person just looking at the Kaaba. Just looking at the Kaaba is worship, ibadah. Just looking at the Kaaba itself is 20 mercies. 20 different forms of mercies. Subhanallah. So the most superior thing that you can do in Makkah is to do tawaf, not salah. Salah comes second to tawaf. Tawaf comes first. Tawaf is the highest reward. 60 forms of mercies you get if you do tawaf. 40 if you pray salah. And 20 if you just look at the Kaaba. Do nothing. You're too exhausted. You're too tired. Just look at the Kaaba. Just look at the Kaaba. That itself is one of the greatest rewards for ibadah. Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib, one of the great tabi'is, he said, if a person looks at the Kaaba, all his sins are forgiven. Ata ibn Abi Rabah, another great tabi'i, one of the greatest tabi'i of Makkah, he said, one who looks at the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is like a person performing tahajjud. Tahajjud, all night, fasting all day, going out for jihad all day until he dies. This is the reward of a person looking at the Kaaba. Subhanallah. Again, he has another riwayah, Ata ibn Abi Rabah, looking at the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is like 1 year of nafal salah. Looking at the Kaaba Sharif is 1 year of nafal salah. Ata ibn Abi Rabah, one of the greatest muftis from the Imam Abu Hanifa used to revere him, respect him so much because of his knowledge. Ata ibn Abi Rabah was unlike any other tabi'i. He met hundreds and hundreds of Sahaba. He studied under hundreds of Sahaba. Inshallah, we'll end off with this. Inshallah, Allah give all of us the tawfiq to go and just even look at the Kaaba Sharif. Even look at the Kaaba Sharif. Subhanallah. جزاكم الله خيرا بارك الله فيكم سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك